Yo, yo, yo. It is that time. We are here, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Knockout Canvas.
Woo! Great to have you back. Great to have you back, Professor T.
It's great to have you back, my man. Let's make sure that I get this right, because I don't know if I started it. Yeah, I didn't, but I did. I didn't start it, but I did start it. I'm getting the hang of it. Don't worry, we're gonna figure it out. We working out the kinks. But
sir. This is episode 2 officially, and I know that the Crump family's just been winning all kinds of medals, man. It's been usually we try to do like a Saturday watch live if there's a fight going on. Right. Or we'll do our normal Wednesday nights. But man, tell us the last few months, Turf. Tell us about the little man.
Yeah, man.
Medals, bro.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So this is his first year ever running track, and I mean, you don't dive any deeper. There is no deeper end than club track in Austin, Texas. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much. You either going to Houston or Dallas. Those are the really only other regions, in the area that, that I would consider to be better competition, if you will. And, the kid didn't have a care in the world all the way through district. Shocked all of us. Murdered district, right? 400, 800, all of that. And won districts. We got to regionals, and it was a huge eye-opener in a great way, right? I mean, at this point in his career, it's always going to be a learning lesson, right?
Right.
And he learned pretty quickly the difference between, the kids that have been doing this since 5 years old, and they were capable of making that next level step, right? He made that next level step in district and didn't comprehend that not only did he have to stay at that level to make it, you might even have to pick it up more of a notch, right? The aggressiveness in track. These are, you guys are about to get a lesson. Turf is going to give you all the game, everything I know. And I'm learning so much, man. But believe it or not, it is aggressiveness that is a mandatory must-have ability when you're running the 800 meters, because it's a waterfall start. And there's elbows, man. It's first man up, so big eye opener, man. Long story short, of all the events we thought he would make it for, meaning he was seated high, and the expectations were for him to make the 400 and the 800. He did none of those. But with his back against the wall, and this is where that proud papa moment comes, right? You've exhausted all your options, all your great options at that. You got one race left, man. You get one shot. That's it. My man came through, man. Not only did he come through, he came through with flying colors. The guy that he had to beat wasn't even a competition, man. And the previous time they raced each other, it was neck and neck. So shout out to my guy, Tracing Crump, man. And just can't wait to see what the rest of the future holds for him as far as track.
Hey man, that I think that's amazing. I've always complimented you for being such a great dad, and I know it's a little tough for you this year, so I'm not gonna make you cry, bro. But you've done a hell of a job with all them kids, and
thank you,
and shout out to Severe who's joining us tonight. That's another one of them really good dads, bro. I really like all those footages of his sons now getting into it. So we'll see, man. We might have a future football player. Not if I don't want any of your kids getting into combat sports now.
Tell me about it. Yeah, right. Tell me about it.
If any of the kids, Severe or Turf, if any of the kids say, "Oh, I want to learn it," Uncle Angelo is more than happy to teach it. I'm going to be like, y'all are not going into this sport. It's not going to happen.
Absolutely.
We're not doing that.
I agree, bro. I wholeheartedly agree. That's what's up, man. But, hey, as always, man, one of the main supporters, man. Chewy's in the building. NFL News and Podcast, Super Chat, $1.99. Jake Paul is legit. Laugh out loud.
Oh, no. Put that up, though. Put that up.
I did.
That's all right. I'm glad Chewy's starting us off right off the bat, man.
Right. Absolutely. I wouldn't have it any other way. And for the record, guys, for the people that don't know, I know you're probably watching on the Ultimate Raider Fan channel, but there is a new channel, and you're looking at it. The Knockout Canvas, right? So at the Knockout Canvas, YouTube, Instagram, I still have to get on my game, right, and get all the other ones out, man. It is what it is. It's this stuff is tough work.
It's just episode 2, Turf.
It's episode 2, yeah, but
episode 2, bro.
It's hard, man. It's hard trying to keep all this stuff in focus, but I got plans, man. I got big plans. So we got Professional E in the building. Yeah.
Hey, that's my guy. Professional E. Thank you, bro.
Said I bought that pay-per-view.
Well, we're going to talk about it, Professionally. We're going to talk about it. And actually, me and Turf will probably disagree on this, but I thought the pay-per-view was worth it, and I'll explain to you why.
No, and we'll definitely dive into all of that. I'm with you, though. I mean, anytime you can showcase real boxing, right, as far as the undercard, who cares about the circus after the fact? You know what I mean? It's really all about the fighters, the real fighters, not the circus. So I applaud them for figuring out ways to, as far as Jake Paul doing this thing, even if it is scripted, fake, all that good stuff. I think the boxers deserve it. You know what I mean? And they get the ability to showcase what they have, man. Yeah,
absolutely. No, absolutely. And Turf, I mean, let's. And I know you. I texted you, and I was so like, I'm done, bro. but again, I need some time to process and talk about the good, the bad, the ugly of Jake Paul. So when we're talking about the good of Jake Paul, just give me some footnotes on what you think is good about Jake Paul.
Well, I do think he is good for the fighters. I'm just not going to lie. I mean, it's no secret the guy just paid for Ben Askren's double lung transplant. I mean, what more can you say? I mean, that's $1 million surgery.
I know, Turf.
As far as that's what I'm saying. So, I mean, the fact that, he did that out of his own pocket, the way that he gets these fighters paid for these promotions that he promotes, and how he handles his business, I mean, that's the good, man. These fighters are getting the best paydays they've ever had under his watch, right? Under his cards, his tutelage, if you will, regardless of if you like him or not.
Right.
So I'll never not. You know what I mean? I'll never knock him for that. And in fact, I think that's the one thing I can even get Iceman. Shout out to my guy Scully, because he can't stand the circus stuff. Oh my God, he won't even watch it. He's one of those. He's one of those purists, man. He won't even watch. You can't even get him to watch the walkout, let alone the ring. In between. He's not watching none of it. So, but I understand, man. You got to remember that guy. He is literally the purest athlete / boxer I've ever been around in my life. I mean, the guy never drank even a sip of beer, alcohol, drugs, none. Scully has done not a single drop, ounce of any of that. I think he's still sparring today. And Scully's got almost 10 years on me, man. And I'm 50. So, I mean, his mind is insane for a fighter. He literally remembers everything. It's wild. So, but yeah, man.
For you guys who don't know, Scully's the one that coaches Better Biev.
Yes.
I think he's on Imam Katayev's corner, which we'll talk about a little later today. But no, he's got a good little thing going up there, coaching some folks. He was here in Vegas for a little bit, Turf.
Yeah.
For just a bit. Then he had to go fly back out to Canada for one of his boys fought on that Montreal card.
Correct.
Last week Friday. So his guy looked good, actually. His guy was able to pull it off. So
yeah, Scully, he's a purist, man. I mean, down to is as pure as it gets, man. He doesn't believe in all the new technology, if you will, and I don't disagree with him. Fighting is different. I'm sorry. I mean, yes, athletes are different from yesterday, but in the terms of fighting and having the heart and the ability. See, that's what people are missing. I don't think anybody has the heart of the fighters yesterday, and that's something we should probably really talk about.
Yeah, no, hey man, that's facts right there.
I mean, it's not even close. It's not.
I mean, we're talking about 15 rounders, but but again, we don't want to get too negative on these youngsters right now.
Right.
Turf, tell me now. Let's talk about the bad of Jake Paul, because we got professionally, he paid for it. I'll tell you that it's worth it because of all the other undercards. But Chewy's like, well, he's not that Disney boy we used to watch. So tell me the bads. What do you think of his technique? He's now got 12 fights, Turf.
Right.
What do you think of his technique?
It's what I would expect for a person that came this route. Nothing sharp. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. He's definitely got a knockout punch. There's no question. His right hand is there. You know what I mean? I'm saying up against just your average Joe, like not a real professional boxer. I mean, it's obvious he hasn't fought. I mean, Chavez is the only real professional I'd say that he fought, and I mean, the rumors are already out as far as it being fixed and scripted. And I'm not going to lie, man, there's no way on earth I wouldn't be shocked at that. We're talking Chavez, man.
Well, are you one of the believers that the Mike Tyson one last year was scripted?
Yeah, I mean, I do believe that Mike Tyson was ordered not to knock him out. It was just too many things that we saw where the muscle memory kicked in, right? And somehow he found a way to, stop it, if you will. For the payday. I don't know. And that's the part this is the bad. It's because you never really know because he's never fought a real fighter. Because we all know if he fought a real fighter,
well, the closest thing he had to fighting somebody who's at least a young, up and coming, type of a fighter, like in the beginning stages, was Tommy Fury. And Tommy Fury beat him, dude. So there you go. Like
absolutely.
That's his loss. Right?
That was his close, and I don't even consider Tommy Fury anything. Right?
No, I mean he's at Tommy Fury's most famous turf for Love Island, bro. He's on Love Island right now. So. And I don't watch it. I just heard about it. So that you guys know. I don't be watching Love Island.
Shout out to Coach watching Love Island. That's so funny you say that too, because I was just laughing at my daughter and her boyfriend a few minutes ago. Because she was watching that mess.
I bet your daughter knows who Tommy Fury is.
I'm sure she probably does.
So, all right. So that's Jake Paul's one loss, right? Yes. The most recent thing, as you know, Turf, that happened, and it kind of drove me mad, which is why our title is Jake Paul's ranked. What the F, right? He's ranked, bro. He's ranked number 14 at cruiserweight by the WBA, bro. Tell me how you feel about Jake Paul being recognized as a contender for the actual title.
It's blasphemy. I don't know. At some point, I think he is gonna, run into somebody that's just not dealing. I don't know. It's weird, man. It's weird. I mean, money does crazy things to people, and I just can't get past the fact that he didn't get knocked out by Tyson, let alone anybody else. You know what I mean? It just leads me to believe there's no way he's really. Well,
here, let me break it down for you, because again, you're talking to Professor Terrence Crump there, who is a major black belt in the BJJ world, if y'all don't know yet.
Wow.
And and
I haven't fought in a while, man. So that mopped me up.
Hey, man! If one of these people in the chat go a little too wrong, you
right.
a leg lock, bro.
Yes, sir.
No, we just messing with you guys at the chat. And then again, for all of you guys know, I never like to brag about it, but if you ever want to Google search Angelo Reyes, boxing coach.
Yeah.
I will tell you all about what I used to do before my transplant. So, have at it, guys. But I like to break down the facts. So he's ranked. Okay. So here I'm gonna break down to you all of his pretty much his opponents, right? First guy, that doesn't even matter. The second guy was basketball player Nate Robinson.
I remember that, but we all know he's not a real fighter.
Okay, that was the second fight. The third fight was MMA champion, because I was actually with him in the Philippines and also in Dubai.
Right.
I wasn't coaching with him. I had other fighters. I was training Brandon Vera and on Hulton. So I was with a different team, but we were together during that whole trip. And he's not a striker, Turf. He's a wrestler. But his third fight was Ben Askren, which we just talked about, who needed the lung transplant. So that was his third fight. His fourth fight was Tyrone Woodley in a split decision.
Dude,
Okay, split decision on the first fight. So a lot of people thought Tyrone Woodley really won that fight, but he didn't get the decision. So then they fought again, and this is when Jake Paul really blew up. Then he started blowing up to where real deep.
Right. Uh-oh, we lost Angelo.
You know, that's a meme where Tyrone Woodley got KO'd, right?
It's bad. That was a bad meme.
I'm just going over it because, you know, Chewy, he's on the chat right now and he's saying Jake Paul is good, and Professional E and him are going back and forth, which I don't know why I can't see the chat, by the way, Turf, which is okay.
You can't see it?
I can't see it on our studio, but I can see it.
I'll send you a link. Yeah, I'll send you a link. No, because this one will have everything combined.
Okay, cool. So, and then, Turf, he fights one of my all-time favorite MMA fighters, Anderson Silva, bro.
Oh,
Now, the Anderson Silva fight, that's one of those things where I'm like, bro, he's kind of old, and, you know, he's he can give it to you pretty good, and you know, but that went unanimous decision, so that's fine. So then his next fight, which is his 7th fight, and I'm not calling it a professional fight, by the way. You notice I've not once said these are professional fights, because the only thing professional about it, in my opinion, y'all, is that people were getting paid. But there's nothing professional about the gloves. There's nothing professional about it in my eyes. All right. So his next fight was a professional fight.
Yes, it was.
He had to go to Riyadh, which is covered by the British Boxing Board. The gloves had to be the proper gloves for that weight class, not this weak-ass 14 ounce that he always uses.
Right.
And in that fight to Love Island, Tommy Fury beat him. Split decision, bro. He got beat by Love Island, right?
Love Island, bro.
So then he went back. So then, Turf, after that, his comeback fight is one of my all-time favorite dudes in the UFC. Nate Diaz, he was always cool, man. Yep. Shout out to the 209.
Absolutely.
But even that, bro, Nate Diaz was a 155er. All right, his highest weight that he fought is when he fought McGregor and Masvidal. You know what I'm saying, right? Yep. And they were wearing 14-ounce gloves. Bro, anytime it's above 10-ounce gloves, it's not a pro fight.
It's not.
10-ounce gloves is the professional rules for real fighting, which is why when you go outside the U.S., where you're not fighting in Texas or some bullshit sanctioning body that's going to allow you to go ahead and do this crap, you know. So he fights Nate Diaz. That was in Texas. Bigger gloves. He beats Nate Diaz by unanimous decision. Then he knocks out another nobody, bro. After that fight.
Right.
Knocked out another nobody, which you probably don't even remember these names, Andre August and Ryan Berlin, because you don't know them. Then his 11th pro fight, Turf, he fights Mike Perry in Florida. And you remember in the UFC, Mike Perry was also.
I do remember Mike Perry, yes.
Right, 155.
He fought Mike Perry?
Yeah, bare knuckle guy, right? He ends up stopping Mike Perry, but again, it's never impressive when you're a weight bully, man. If you're weighing 200 whatever pounds, and the dude you're fighting really, with some weights and jeans on, might come close to, it's just not fair. And then Turf last year, big event. You remember when we were watching it live, it's like the worst Netflix ever did, and we were saying, they better not do this on the NFL, man. All this fucking pausing and crappy.
Right. It was
so anyways, he fights Mike Tyson, okay? And then he fought Cesar Chavez, which is recently, and like Professional Lee was saying, Chavez maybe ain't got no heart and whatnot. So I say all that to say, Turf, what do you think of that opponent lineup? And even if he was just starting out from scratch,
right,
how many of those wins really should allow him to be ranked?
I don't think many. I'm just going to be honest. I don't think many of them should be allowed, particularly the UFC guys, right? Let's just keep it a bean. Like if you are really a boxer, why are you fighting MMA guys that have no striking ability? You know why? We know why. I mean, so that you can at least get some guys that are tough enough, right, to take it. You know what I mean? To give you those rounds, to do all that good stuff. But outside of that, what are you getting out of it?
Well, I ask it because, again, you and I, we know that in the boxing world, the WBA, guys, the way I try to explain to everyone about boxing, and I was actually talking to our friend Stuart Schwaggart about this, because Stu's really cool. When he calls me, we end up talking for hours because he's always asking me about boxing and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And he said, explain to me the belts, Angelo, because I really don't understand. And I told him, I said, okay, here's the way for you to understand it, so it's really easy. I'm going to compare it to college football. I said, basically, the belts are like the ACC, the SEC, the Big Ten, like certain belts matter more than other belts.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, for people like Gervonta Davis, he's a good fighter, good fighter, right? But the WBA is kind of a joke in the sense that they are willing to go ahead and let someone like a Jake Paul be ranked.
Right.
With fully knowing that Jake Paul has had only one fight with correct ounce gloves, but all the other fights have been with 14-ounce gloves.
Right.
And again, I want to make sure that Chewy and every shout out to the chat, guys, man. And Turf's gonna start pulling it up.
I am. Protect the Shield podcast. My guy Chris is out there in the building.
Now I know for a fact our guy Chris does not like Jake Paul. I mean, in terms of fighting, he might like him personally because they're from the same state. Jake Paul's from Ohio.
Yeah,
But anyway, Turf. So the whole thing is here's a WBA who's like, we're gonna rank you. You and I both know why they're ranking them. It's for the money, man. They want that money. But there's no way Jake Paul's going to get a chance to fight anyone for any belts because in order to get the belts, you have to wear the 10-ounce gloves. And truthfully, Turf, if the Chavez fight was with 10-ounce gloves, if the Tyson fight that you saw last year
I would have been
was
a wrap.
with 10-ounce gloves,
would have been a wrap.
What do you think it would have looked the same?
No.
Okay.
Not even.
So this is where people like Chewy, who loves Jake Paul, and everybody else who may be big on Jake Paul's, and I'm talking about skill, by the way.
Right.
I've not once talked badly about Jake Paul as a person. I personally know one of his coaches. I'm not saying nothing back. I've never had coffee with Jake Paul, so I don't know him as a dude. I can only speak for people when I've met them, right? or I've worked with them, like the
Yes,
Floyds, the Pacquiaos, and everybody, right? Paulie, who a lot of people don't like, but I love Paulie, and that's my dude.
Oh, Imaginiati, yeah, that's my dude. I love Paulie.
Yeah, no, I'll when next time he comes to Vegas, Turf, and you're here, man, we'll definitely we'll get together. You'll Absolutely. Love Paulie, dude. Paulie will chop us up. Will talk to us for days. Right? But Turf, in your again opinion, if Jake Paul did wear actual 10-ounce gloves,
right,
with all those names that I mentioned, and this is where you and I disagree, I don't think he has real power. And the reason why I don't think he has real power is because he can't knock out these guys with 14-ounce gloves.
Right.
So if you can knock out Chavez, who was probably coked out of his mind,
100%
going into that fight, last Saturday,
no question,
you have power. And this is what I mean. So what upsets me isn't even Jake Paul. What upsets me is this generation of social media and everyone else who, if it looks like a duck, then they think it's a duck. But you and I both know it's not a duck.
Right? No, absolutely.
It's a fake duck. It's it's imitation crab, man. That ain't real crab. And by the way, I'm not saying imitation crab tastes bad, y'all. Right. Tastes great.
Right.
But you can't tell me it's real crab. And that's where me and Professor Terrence here kind of are like, yeah, I mean, I think Turf could get in there with I mean, in all honesty, Turf's all ass could probably get in there with Jake Paul and give him a good run for his money.
Right. You know? I mean, hey, I've had training in Muay Thai. I think I'll be able to hold my own, even with, being 50. I really do think I could still give him a run for his money, like you said. It's not going to be an easy night for him.
Well, Turf, shout out to the chat, man. Why don't we look at? I mean,
you got the link, right? So
it's easier for me to look at it on YouTube.
But you can click on the link, and then it'll show up on the screen.
Okay. I'll
you see what I'm saying? And then, the other thing that you're not seeing all of them. If you're only looking at the ones, okay. That's why I sent you the link. That's gonna get all of them across every platform that we have. So, ladies and gentlemen,
everybody, I'm still learning.
Yeah, no worries. And if you haven't already, please go over to the Knockout Canvas. That's on Instagram and on YouTube. And don't forget to like and hit that subscribe button, man. Please. Eventually, I will stop broadcasting this through, the Ultimate Raider fan. I don't want to start getting the football fans upset with us, just populating nothing but boxing and a football channel. But I do also know we have a lot of people that love boxing from the Raider Nation.
Oh, but bro, in fact, shout out to the Yerp Jurors podcast. Some of you guys already follow him. Yerp is awesome. Dude, he invited me to his channel last night because he's one of them young fans, Turf, who just want to talk boxing, bro.
Right.
If you're gonna Papa Rundown calls me the boxing almanac. So if you're gonna ask the almanac, man, then you're gonna get it. And he's been watching boxing nonstop right now, catching up on everything. So shout out to the Europe Jurors podcast. And again, a lot of his Raider followers were like, oh, hell yeah, we're talking boxing.
Right.
A lot of people are talking MMA, So yeah, man, you guys are in the perfect show if you want to talk about boxing and MMA because you got a black belt in BJJ, Muay Thai, former fighter there in Terrence Crump, who never talks about how amazing he was in college football, even though everybody knows. You can just Google search that shit, and you'll know how awesome he was in college football. And then, like I said, man, I don't, you know me, Turf. I never have to say nothing because if you want to know what's up with Coach Angelo Reyes, then all you got to do is go Google search it, and you'll know what's up. So,
bingo.
So, Turf, you brought out the whole, hey, at least Jake Paul is giving all this platform to the real fighters.
Correct.
So on the undercard of that fight, bro, on Saturday, that's why I was telling Professional E, I would have paid the $65 for it. I mean, I didn't because I went to Dave & Buster's to watch both UFC 317 and the Jake Paul. But I would have because Raul Coriel Julian Rodriguez versus Avion, Schofield versus Farmer, bro. Like those were all really good fights, right?
Right.
So let me ask you with the first one, Floyd Schofield. Did you see it?
I didn't get to see it.
You didn't get to see it.
I
All
didn't
right.
get to see it.
So chat, you guys know if you've seen it on the highlights, and if you haven't, please follow me on Reyes Boxing on Instagram. I will send it to you. So Floyd Schofield, Turf. Remember earlier this year, he was in Riyadh in February.
Yep.
He was supposed to fight Shakur Stevenson. This 22-year-old kid gets sick. He ends up in the hospital. But you know how harsh the boxing world could be, and just the critics. So they're all like, man, you're weak, dude. You weren't really sick. You're just trying to duck Shakur. And if you're 22, man, I could really fuck with your head, right? That's why I'm never really that hard on these guys too much. So
correct.
He's sitting there, and he's waiting his turn. Tevin Farmer fought William Cepeda, who's the WBC interim champ in November. And a lot of people thought Tevin Farmer beat him in November.
Right.
So then they did the rematch this year in March in Mexico. And even that fight was close, but sure, you can give it to Cepeda.
Correct.
Either way, Turf, that's 24 rounds that Tevin Farmer took William Cepeda, who is the #1 mandatory to Shakur Stevenson, and they're fighting in 2 weeks, right?
Right. Yes.
Floyd Schofield knocked his ass out, bro. Out.
He did. He did.
Out.
He
Bro,
did.
He was asleep while he was standing up. It was so bad.
It was bad. It was real bad.
And that's the fight is the highlight. Like all you guys say, the fight is the highlight. It was a 2. And I remember when it happened, Severe texted me right away, and he was like, Floyd Schofield. And I'm like, yeah, man. Shit. Floyd Schofield. That's a real one now, Turf.
Yeah,
I mean,
no, absolutely.
You know, so I want to ask you this because just that first fight alone, right, get you excited. Floyd Schofield is now the #1 mandatory to fight the winner of Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach.
Yeah, that's another good one.
So that one's coming up. Lamont Roach versus Tank Davis, August 16th. Floyd Schofield is the #1 mandatory now for that. But Turf, he wants Shakur Stevenson. If Shakur Stevenson can beat Cepeda, right?
Right.
In 2 weeks.
Right.
So I want you to think about the 135 division right now. Okay. You got Schofield, who's 22. Your boy, Abdullah Mason, who's 21. Okay. Sam Noakes, who's also undefeated from the UK. He's kind of like their version of Ricky Hatton right now, 135. Right. He's fighting Abdullah Mason for the WBO, the vacant WBO that Keyshawn Davis fumbled because he couldn't make weight, right? So Abdullah or Sam Noakes is about to be the champion. Sam Noakes is only like 23, right? Okay. You got Shakur Stevenson, who's only 27. He just turned 27. Okay. Yep. You got William Cepeda, who's only 27, right? The oldest one out of this whole crew, because Andy Cruz is 29, and you know Andy Cruz just got that knockout. Raymond Murataya from Southern California, the IBF champion, he's only 25, right? The oldest one, and out of all of these people, is Tank Davis. Yes. Tank Davis is 30, right? Wow. Now I
didn't realize he was already hitting 30. Yes, that's crazy.
Well, yes,
that's crazy.
I just named to you the 135 division of killers, and there's more too that are coming up. But these are the killers, like up on the top, right? The cream's rising to the top.
Right.
Turf. Do you really think that Tank Davis is trying to fight any of these people?
No. No. He's gonna look for one more payday and ride off in the sunset. That's my guess.
Okay.
That's my guess. I think he wants to fight one, and it needs to be something that he can get bank on. If it's not worth the risk, the money, nah.
Okay,
doesn't make sense. Not for him.
Does the chat and Professor T want a little inside information of things that I'm hearing from the insider world of what's going on?
Absolutely.
In boxing. All right. So Turf, You know how you were saying what he wants is the payday, right?
Absolutely.
Now, we both saw Lamont Roach versus Tank Davis. I believe Lamont Roach won. Straight up, I scored it for Lamont Roach, even without that stupid knockdown no call.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Did you score it for Lamont Roach, or honestly, did you have it as a draw, or what did you have?
No, I had Lamont Roach winning that fight. 100%. Easy. He won that fight.
So here is the rumor that was, I mean, it's not really a rumor. Everybody kind of knows, but
Right.
what was supposed to happen after the Lamont Roach fight is a pre-contract had already been signed for Gervonta Tank Davis to fight Jake Paul next after he beat Lamont Roach.
Gotcha.
Lamont Roach fumbles that bag because he kind of beats him. And what happens then, Turf, is when they go to the athletic commission is like, well, we really should overturn this, or we should call it a no contest. Right. And what Tank Davis's people did is, hey, we'll give him a rematch right away. So that's why when you saw the reports that said, yes, the referee did make an incorrect call, and yes, us at the New York State Athletic Commission do believe that it was the wrong call. Right. But unfortunately, we can't overturn the decision.
Correct. It was garbage. It was
right.
garbage.
Okay. But the real reason why they didn't overturn the decision is because of the automatic rematch, right? Now, here's where what you just said, Turf, is about to make sense when you were like, he's trying to get the money. Whether Tank Davis wins or loses, you heard it here first, folks. If I'm right, then great. If I'm wrong, then they probably went a different direction. But from what I understand, whether Tank Davis wins or loses, and he might lose, Turf, on August 16th. I'm just going to throw that out there right now.
Very possible.
Lamont Roach might tax that ass one more time. All right?
Very possible.
Gervonta Tank Davis will retire. That you've heard you've seen other boxers do it. Tyson Fury just did it. I'm going to retire, right? And then a few months later, he's going to come back, Turf, and his first fight when he comes back will be Jake Paul.
Yeah, that would be wild.
Tank Davis. Chat. Chewy,
that would be wild. That would be wild.
Hey, I'm just giving you what I'm hearing. Okay, you know I know some people, Turf. You know I know some people. So
Jake Paul, it just doesn't even make sense.
I mean, but honestly, Turf, you're telling me no one's gonna watch that?
Oh, absolutely. Everybody's gonna watch it. Oh, 100%.
Might even be a Netflix event, man. Might even be a Netflix event. Okay,
it wouldn't shock me.
So now let me explain to you, and you'll enjoy this, Turf. The theory as to why this could possibly happen. If Tank Davis wins, he beats Lamont Roach. Well, Lamont Roach basically just comes right back down, and he's the current 130-pound WBA champ anyways. So he just goes back down to 130, defends his belt, all's good. Lamont Roach, it doesn't hurt Lamont Roach in any way.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Tank Davis, on the other hand, though, bro, you just said he doesn't want to fight Shakur. I mean, I'm not saying he's scared, by the way. But Angelo Reyes is not saying Tank Davis is scared. Tank Davis is not scared of anybody. We're just talking about money here. We're talking about money. Okay.
Correct.
He doesn't want to fight, Raymond Murataya or Andy Cruz. He's not going to fight Abdullah Mason, bro, when Abdullah Mason is only 21, right? He's not fighting Floyd Schofield. Come on, bro. He's not fighting. There's no money in it.
There's no money. Yeah, exactly.
There's no money in that yet. I mean, Shakur would be the one that would be the biggest money, but what would give you more money? Shakur versus Tank or Jake Paul versus Tank? You know what I'm saying? Right?
Yep.
Okay. If he loses, it's all the more reason why he retires, Turf. He needs to take a break, Mental health is getting to him.
Yeah, you got a point. I can't disagree.
All right. Okay, now, here's the one that's going to blow your mind. Turf, the Gervonta Tank Davis versus Jake Paul fight, we've already seen it. We've already watched it. We paid for it. In fact, my son fucking made me pay for that shit during COVID. All right? Okay? Do you remember Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul?
Oh, yeah, you're right.
We've already seen it, Turf.
You're right.
We've already seen a huge Paul brother trying to fight tiny little boxer guy.
Yes.
Okay, with smaller gloves, by the way. That's one of the reasons why Logan Paul was like, "Oh, fuck that."
Exactly.
Because you already know Floyd could crack, right?
There you go. Nobody wants to be embarrassed by a little guy.
Nobody, so we already watched it. And would you like to tell me, Professor Crump, who advises Gervonta Davis? Who's one of his main advisors, Turf? Who's the guy that kind of brought him up to the game?
I think his name is called Floyd Mayweather. It's Money May. Yeah.
So again, if I'm wrong, Turf, then maybe they changed their minds. But from good sources, I'm just saying that's what it's looking like, because there's already a pre-contract that's signed for that. So
that is crazy.
Just give it. Yes, these are the type of little nuggets you guys are going to get over here at the Knockout Canvas. Whenever Turf gets some info, or I'll get some info, we'll share it with you guys. And if it happens, we can come back and go, damn, they said that.
Yep.
They said this was going to happen, and it's like.
And now that you say it, and it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. It really does. I could totally see where they're going to try to make money. And we're gonna pay for it,
or maybe
we're
not.
Gonna pay for it.
Might be Netflix. We're not paying for Canelo Crawford. Might be Netflix, bro.
Right.
Might be Netflix, but either way, man,
it'd be nice for it to be Netflix.
But yeah. So that's kind of the whole Jake Paul and what's gonna happen with him next. So stay tuned for that. I mean, he could end up fighting some loser again, but he's already, the good thing about Jake Paul is he's promoting next week's fight, July 11th, free on Netflix. It's that entire women's fight card that has all title fights, which again, guys, if you love boxing, you're gonna want to tune into that, because that's Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano. And you remember, Turf, when we watched the Tyson Paul fight, the thing that saved that show was the girls.
100%. All right? 100%.
So they're fighting free as a headliner for Netflix, and you're gonna see he's gonna showcase all the other women. So shout out to Netflix, man, and shout out to boxing for giving that for free and showcasing to you all the amazing, talented women that are in the boxing world. Turf has a daughter who's amazing at gymnastics, and I'm sure he is not against women athletics, and especially if the women can get the bag.
No, absolutely. I mean, hey, as long as it's entertaining. See, that's the beautiful thing about women's boxing, if you're a true boxing fan, because it's not as big of a drop-off as it is, for example, the WNBA. Nobody's watching the WNBA. There's no dunking, right? There's no flying above the rim. You don't have any of that in the WNBA, which is why it's a hard product to sell. But in boxing, in women's boxing, you still get knockouts, baby. Clarissa Shields is knocking people in the next week, man. So,
hey, she's fighting in July too, Turf. Exactly. She's fighting in July.
Exactly. So, yeah, I'm all about it, man. I'm all about it from that respect.
Well, that one is next week. And I don't know if you got to see this guy, Raul Curiel, but I was. Did you see that, Turf? Did you see Raul Curiel?
I don't think so.
Okay, so Raul Curiel he's the undefeated 147 guy, and he reminds me of Jose Luis Castillo.
I saw highlights. I know you're talking about.
He reminds me of Castillo, like Castillo Corrales style, right? Okay, this boy, he was fighting the guy from Uruguay who was undefeated, also same age, same height. Yep. He broke the guy's orbital bone, Turf.
Jesus.
He broke it, bro, and they showed it, and I was like, "Oh my god!" I mean, man, this guy's a killer. So at 147, even though my boy Boots Enos moved up to 154,
right,
there were some killers at 147, man. So professionally, like I said, would it have been worth paying 65? I think you got your money's worth, bro, because those undercards alone were dope. Were amazing. Were amazing.
Right. No, I agree. I agree from, the highlights, the stuff I did see. and everybody else's responses. I mean, if the public's happy, especially casuals, I mean, come on. If casual boxing fans were happy, it had to be a good card. So
yeah, the mainstream. Now, this is the part where, again, we're still experimenting, ladies and gentlemen. So, Turf, I'm watching your Tuesday night shows, and it's so cool because you're doing the breakdowns of the players. Last night, you did a breakdown of the offensive line, and I love the trenches. So you're showing all these videos, and I'm saying to myself, why can't we do that for this show?
Right.
Why? So what's the trick exactly? How can we show some jiu-jitsu in here so that you can break it down for the folks? Do we get popped? Do we get in trouble?
Yeah. It's going to definitely be hard to show anything UFC.
Okay.
That will definitely get flagged. I mean, we can do it. I'm just
No. I don't want
that'll
to
get flagged. UFC is never going to let you even highlights. They won't. They're not like that. See, the NFL is smart. They found a way to allow you to use footage that's basically just marketing them. For UFC, the way they see it, allowing you to see any of that, it's losing money, right? Think about it. You're losing money in a lot of ways, and in some instances, even for the fighters and the fight clubs themselves, they too may feel a certain kind of way. Meaning, hey, why are you showing our content for free, giving people the ability to, you know what I mean? Get up to speed on what we do, how we do break things down, and they don't have to pay for it.
Right.
So it's a little different. It's not the same as in football, because even in football, right, obviously the number one thing is you got 10 other people, right? It could be you could be one person you're focusing on, but it's 10 other people that matter. It's just a little different. But yeah, I'm definitely down to try it, man. And as long as
I've heard people say, well, if you do it, but you don't do it for too long, and you do it without the sound, you could kind of get away with certain things like that. So I sent you a couple of short ones on your phone, and they're from the UFC BJJ that just started last week. It was the first time they were doing actual champions. I don't know if you saw the actual BJJ belt that they created. Some people like it. Some people think it looks like a Transformers. I don't know. I'm not. I mean, you're a BJJ guy, so I don't know if you would like a belt or not as your reward for being a champ. But,
are you kidding me? Heck yeah. Heck yeah, you want a belt. You absolutely want a belt. Hold on 1 second.
So Professor Trump's getting something right now. But yeah, no, so UFC BJJ, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, if you guys want to watch it, they finally started it as a professional league, so you get to watch these guys. Oh, there you go. There you go. Flex at him.
You got it.
Flex at him, Professor T.
One of
Show that Naga belt.
Very first belts fighting as an advanced. I believe purple belt and up is considered advanced, but I believe in order to get a belt as a kid, you had to be a green belt or above, and as adults, I want to say brown belt. It could be, man, you're talking well over a decade ago. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't remember. This belt is one of the ones that is super old. The actual newer ones, I have a couple of the newer ones too. They look a lot better, and I'm sure the ones today are just amazing. But yeah, it's all about the belt, man. This matters. I'm telling y'all right now, this is part of why I continued in jiu-jitsu, and you can call me crazy, right? And you're right, it's a $2 belt. It's a $2 piece of trinket, but all I can tell y'all is if you ever get involved in something and you see that carrot, this was that carrot for me. Seriously, this $2 belt meant everything to me, to gain, to obtain, to work, to win. And it was not given to me. Trust me, the dude that I had to fight to get this was not willing to just let that go. Everybody wanted this. So it does matter, man. And that's where unfortunately today, I think we've lost a lot, just in sports in general across the board. And definitely in combat sports. I mean, it's obvious nobody's fighting anybody anymore to show that they're number one.
Right. I mean, and to put a caveat on that, they're fighting now because of Turkey Al Sheikh, right? But like what Turf is trying to say is, back in the 70s, 80s, 90s, you wanted to fight to know that you're the best, not you're the best, quote unquote, but that was also the best money. You just wanted to know that you were the best, right? It wasn't about the money. It's about being the best, okay? Which again, in a lot of ways, you can sit there and, this is your guy, Terrence Crawford is making less money than Canelo, right? So we can sit there and say, well, Crawford might actually be putting himself in danger, quote unquote, for less money than the main guy because he wants to find out he's the best. And I'll give him that. I think that there's a lot of truth to when Terrence Crawford said the reason why he wants to move up to 168 to fight Canelo is because Canelo is the best boxer of this generation right now, right?
Right.
Which, in terms of resume, I mean, Floyd's gone. So after Floyd and after Pacquiao, I mean, okay. Yes. I understand that. So what you're saying is that nowadays these guys, they'll fight, but they want the bag with the fight.
It's all they want. No one even cares about being the best. It's disgusting. I'm not. It's just look. I know. So seriously, because it's hard as a parent, right? It's a fine line you have to walk in teaching your kids. Right. And everything we discussed earlier about my son Trayson is a prime example, because yes, I get it, son. You have a goal, and that goal is to make it right to Junior Olympics. But is that really the goal? Because in my eyes, son, nobody cares about that today. What I care about is winning this race. I don't care about any of that other. I want to be the best one today. I'm fighting to be the best one. That's how we get down. Nobody cares about, well, if I can make it to fifth place. No, that's not the mindset that we have over here. And that's something that you have to walk the fine line, because the last thing you want is for your kid to be satisfied with just getting there. That ain't it, ladies and gentlemen. That ain't it. If you're teaching that, I'm sorry. It's going to be a long, tough road towards the end of life in terms of what you're going to have to deal with and how you're going to have to compete, right? I mean, it's just the reality of life. And it's a fine line to walk, man, because you also got to think about it in terms of, I got a goal too. So I'm not about to just go out here and blow my goal trying to be in, the number one top spot just because I want to be number one. Right. So again, it's a fine line to walk, man. I mean, it's hard, man. It's tough. I'm not going to lie, because these conversations and, they're so delicate at this age, this ripe age of 13. I mean, they're soaking in everything. They have so many different coaches, right? It's just wild, man. So you got to be careful, man. And my thing is, I need him to understand nobody cares about, coming in second place. You're the first loser. And just because you made it to the Olympics, that doesn't mean jack. That's just scratching the surface. So at least that's how we look at it over here. That's how that's how we get down. About that winning life.
I definitely think that there's a difference in the attitude of the Generation X group, right, moving up in terms of just even like, I remember Turf, and your mom, your dad was probably like this too, but I remember my mom, raised by a single mom. I got in a fight in school, and when I came home, because you get suspended back in them days, you remember, like, it doesn't matter, you're suspended. You're suspended, you're out, right? You're out for like 7 days or whatever, right? It was a free pass to get out of school if you wanted to. Correct. So anyway, I remember when my mom would come home from work, she'd be like, "What are you doing home?" And I was like, "Yeah, I got suspended. I got in a fight." And the only question she asked, bro, is, "Well, did you win?"
Exactly.
Like it wasn't like, "Oh, baby, why'd you get in a fight?" Or it was like, "Well, you better have been on that way because your ass is getting whooped."
Bingo.
If you didn't win. So
I got the same exact story, dude. I will never forget as a kid running into the house to tell on one of my friends for beating me up. Man, my mother almost, woo! What you mean you coming in here crying about you got beat up? Boy, if you don't get out there and go fight, I'll never forget that. I never, ever, once again, ever. Nope.
yeah,
And I never got punked out either. I never got punked after that either. I mean, it's just one of those things. You need that reassurance and, that confidence, right? And that's
right.
Sometimes that's why I'm saying it's tricky, man, because she could have went the other direction like most women do, right? The nurturer.
Even nowadays,
baby, yes.
Yes, nowadays it's, you poor thing. Let me go talk to the teacher.
Tell me about your feelings, like.
And again, we're not saying that that's not. I mean, you could have a good relationship with your kid so that what's going on mental health wise and everything. But there is a certain level of toughness that.
Absolutely.
We're not going to say it's okay to lose, but it's okay for you to go out there and do your very best, bro. Right? And if your son gets second place, then he knows he got someone to shoot after to get first. Right? Yep. Instead of the attitude of, well, I participated, Dad. Isn't that enough, Dad?
Right.
All right. I ran.
I got there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I nothing burns me up more. You'll hear me say it time and time again. Second place is the first loser, dude. That's the last place. I will either just beat my ass or I'm winning. That whole in between coming in second, man. I don't do well with that kind of stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I'm big time competitive from that respect.
Hey, salute, Paul. Paul, we have the new, this is our boxing MMA channel. It's called the Knockout Canvas. If you could please, bro, go into the channel, subscribe and like. We'd really appreciate it, brother.
Yes, sir. Raider Shield family hooked us up. Shout out to Raider Shield family in the building. Appreciate you. Just went over and like and subscribe.
Yeah, no, we're getting a lot now, Turf, because it took us a while. This is just episode 2, and we did episode 1 like a month ago. So,
3 weeks, man, 3 weeks.
We're working on it. Everyone, stay patient, please. We're working on it. We're working on it right now. So,
yes, sir.
But yeah, no, Turf. So with the UFC and with MMA, I don't know how. I know that you said 2 of the kids that was training with Team Rabati was competing in that UFC BJJ that just happened. You said that they won. So you said those guys are killers, right? What's their names again, Turf?
Absolute murderers. You guys are going to hear these 2 names for a very, very long time. And I honestly, I'm going to give the goods, man. Andrew Tackett is the younger of the older brothers, right? So you got Andrew and William Tackett. William is the oldest. Andrew is right behind him. They got even a younger one. That's the one I think. It's probably gonna be literally the murderer of all murderers, and that's Caleb. Shout out to my guys, man. Devin, their pops, Candy, moms. These are people that my jiu-jitsu career raised up with. And I'm telling y'all right now, this was back in my late 30s, early 40s, where these guys started to become teenagers. I couldn't deal with them at 14. I was getting tapped out, choked, murdered, 14, 15 years old. And I'm in my late that. And I mean, it just progressed and that, it was there's a lot with the fight game, right? Sometimes, right, Angelo can tell you there's going to be times, right, you may need to, venture off from your trainer. Maybe there's some things that he's just not, right, aware of, or even competent for that matter. It's just not something that's in his style, or right? That styles make fights, all these things. Sometimes you just train with other people, right, for other techniques, etc. And for the Tackett's, it just got to the point where they did outgrow the gym from that respect, right? You have to get out there and be literally with the best to compete against the best. And that's what happened, right? When they got to that ripe old age of, 17, 18 or so, it was time to move on, man. And it was tough. It was tough for everybody.
But I'll tell you this, though, Turf, and I'm glad you shared that story, because shout out to Dixon Sider, by the way. That's one of my favorite people right there. Dixon Sider is a huge MMA fan, and we're actually talking about BJJ right now. Dixon Sider, a couple of the people that Turf was teammates with, was competing at the UFC BJJ that just happened last week. We were going to break down the Ilia Topuria fight, which was awesome. But what you're talking about, Turf, I'll give you a philosophy that I think helped me be successful when I was in the boxing world, and then I actually kind of taught it to the MMA world people, because they were kind of weird about it in the beginning. So I always had this philosophy coming from my Kempo karate background and having studied that from a child, and then running my own dojos in Northern California. Shout out to Keith Shepard, by the way. You remember Shep?
Absolutely.
That's my black belt brother right there.
Cool dude.
Yeah. So my philosophy was, when I got into the boxing world, I was going to train him up as best as I can, right, Turf? And then I was able to take him to Colorado, and we were doing the Olympic Nationals and all of that different stuff. But when I felt like, you know what, you should be learning more from other people, that's how I got to meet Freddie Roach, bro. I was at a tournament, and then I looked at the team at the time that I had, the amateur team, and I was like, hey, we're in Oxnard. You guys want to go meet Freddie? Now, mind you, Turf, this is 2005.
Right.
I've never met Freddie once, dude. And I mean, like, I know who he is, obviously. He's been training Pacquiao, and, he's a legend from back in the day, former fighter, and the whole bit, right? So but I throw them all in the van. We drove to Vine Street there in Hollywood, went to Wildcard Gym. That was back when Freddie Roach was still living at the gym, Turf. This is 05, bro, right? Walked in, said, how you doing, sir? I explained who I was, what I was doing. He said, please have the amateur team. You train here, no problem, for as long as you want. Got to chopping it up with Freddie. Next thing you know, bro, you build this relationship because you're open to letting Freddie, someone who's there, look at your crew of people that you help bring up, right? And then here's exactly what happened, Turf. He goes, hey, those two right there, do they want to be pro? And I said, well, coach, at this point, I don't know yet.
Right.
They're still just trying to be an amateur. And then he goes, well, I'll tell you what, anytime you're back in town, please come and use the gym. And that's when the relationship started right there. So here's what happens, Turf. In 07, there's this one fighter, and he's like, I'm going to be honest with you, man. This person will do a lot better if they just turn pro now.
Right.
Instead of trying to go to the 08 Olympics, right? So I told that person. That person was like, all right, this. And Freddie said, and I'll tell you what, if they turn pro, you can let them know that I will train them. Wow. And that's how it worked. And then I became his assistant for that group. And that's when the whole lesson started, Turf. But I mean, and again, for me, I'm learning from someone who, I don't know what his style is. I know what my style was and how I brought up these, but I want to know what he knew, right?
Right.
And by knowing his system, and you have to remember, his system came from Eddie Futch, bro.
Right.
Eddie Futch, you trained Joe Frazier, Ken Norton, Riddick Bowe. Come on, man. What are we talking about?
Exactly.
Right? You know what I'm saying? So of course, like, I want to learn, X's and O's. How does this work? How do you fight a lefty? Why is Manny Pacquiao so good fighting orthodox fighters, right? And then you break it down. And then, Turf, I took that same attitude, bro. And when I started going to Vegas, 2012, walked into Mayweather gym with them fully knowing I was a part of Team Pacquiao. With them fully knowing I was coming from Freddie Roach them, and totally humble. Man, Floyd was the nicest person, bro. No hate at all. He was like, hey, man, you have your fighters come in, whatever you need. And then, God bless him. He's not with us anymore, but Uncle Roger Mayweather, man, was one of the first people to sit there and be like, hey, let me work with your fighters. All right, now let me show. And then I got to learn that system and how they worked it and what that style. And Turf, man, just the experience of, as a coach and as a teacher, to learn from them, good, bad, indifferent. That's what I'm saying, is that I think that in any combat sports world, team or body, whatever, right? I think coaches and teachers in general could learn more from the attitude I took, which is, and I believe this attitude was because I always thought, if you're a football player,
right,
and your high school coach got you to be the best high school player in all the nation, then if your high school coach is staying in high school, you got to go to college. So that means you're going to leave that coach.
Correct.
And then when you're in college and that college coach helped you to become the best college football player, and you know all about that, Turf, become the best college football player in all the nation, then you're going to leave to go to the pros or whatever your next
your next journey
is. That coach too, right? So I never looked at it as, oh man, you're betraying me. More than, in all honesty, it should be more that the coaches in combat sports should be looking at what's their fighters are missing.
Yes, what's the next move?
Yeah.
No, absolutely. Yeah. So for the people that can see, hold on, let me get it out of the way for this one down here. But this is who we've been talking about. This is Andrew in the middle, who is the new UFC BJJ welterweight, I believe is what that
that belt.
What that belt is. The Transformer, as they say.
I like it.
To the right, to the left of him is actually an MMA fighter for UFC, Cody Steele. Shout out to Cody Steele. Dude, I love this kid because I like what he did for himself. And this is the beauty of a kid like this at this age in this world today, right? Because he came and found the Tackets. He came from a different school. That's how it all started, too. He was looking far and wide, far and wide to find the best talent he possibly can find to help him get to the next level. And that's how he came into the picture. The one to the far right is William Tackett, which is the oldest brother of them all. And then, like I told you, there's this younger one. I want to say he's closer to my youngest son's age, which is like 12, 13. And that's Caleb Tackett. I think he might mess around and be the best one out of all of them when it's all said and done. I mean, having a fight with those two guys, man, you know what I mean? That in itself.
Awesome.
That in itself. Yeah, and I got one more little treat for y'all. Yeah. One more quick treat.
All these people, guys. Oh!
That's the Tackets as kids green belts when they started whooping my behind on the right side. As you can see, I got the green one on. We got Miguel, my boy Miguel Velez on the far left, and Kevin Troyer, KT. He also was an MMA fighter. And in fact, I still carry the ticket stub of when I want to say it was his first MMA fight, man. So shout out to KT, man. Yeah, these are my peoples, man. This picture is so old. You guys have no idea. This picture is so old. Wow. But I'm showing it because, this was my life like 100%.
Yeah.
Luckily, my wife was, she was working nights from home, so the kids were just in the bed at home and turned out to go work out and train. I mean, what was she gonna do? Say no? You got to sit and watch me work? No, it was just perfect. And then that's where I just really gained a lot of knowledge. I mean, I shot up through the purple belt like nobody's business, man. Because at that point, I was going 5 times a week minimum. I was going 5 times.
Hey man, that's serious, Turf.
It's serious training, bro. And I was doing both Muay Thai and BJJ.
Oof.
And it was 2 a day. You had, so Mondays or Tuesdays you would have no gi, and then you'd have Muay Thai. So Tuesdays and Thursdays you'd have no gi Muay Thai. Mondays, Wednesdays you would have gi, right? And then obviously we would have tournament train. Man, look, I came up right. Shout out to Team Rabati. The big body Rabatis, Nibbles, y'all up. We're gonna get them all on the show eventually. I can't wait.
Of course.
One day I will absolutely get Robbie on the show, and that you guys want to talk about a treat. I mean, you're talking one of the OGs of Texas BJJ.
Yeah.
I mean, that
really nice. I remember him on your show too, Turf. When you're talking football, I like him a lot.
Yep. So, yeah, we're gonna bring this heat for y'all, man. We're just scratching the surface. Man. Yes.
Yeah, we just got to get our tech together. Be patient, guys. We're trying to see if we can pop in videos for you, and we don't want to get like canceled because we're putting a UFC video, or something. So we're trying to figure it all out.
Yep.
But Wednesdays is looking like the days that we'll be doing it, right, Turf?
Absolutely.
Wednesday nights.
Absolutely.
And then whenever Turf is free on those Saturdays,
correct.
He's not doing gymnastics or he's not doing
track and field, right? We got to the end of the month. The Junior Olympics is the last week in July, so no more meets.
Okay,
no more meets.
So but this Saturday there's still a meet though, right?
No.
Oh, it's done.
I don't have
the Junior Olympics.
Junior Olympics is the last. Yeah, that's and then.
All right, well, breaking news, y'all. You might have a little treat this Saturday because so Turf, who has the Zone also on the Zone this Saturday. Turf is a huge one with Jack Catterall versus Harlem Eubank. And Eubank is the nephew of Chris Eubank.
The whole vibe, Chris Eubank. I love Chris Eubank. Chris Eubank is one of my favorite people of all time.
Yeah.
His aura, he is in his own world. I mean, Chris Eubank, bro, I'm just telling you, his swag, it's just nothing. Right? I mean, I'd pay to talk to that man all day. Sit and just have.
Hey,
are you
don't
kidding?
Don't sell yourself short, Turf. You and I might actually be talking to him. I'm about to hit my 3-year mark. Once I get to that 5-year mark,
you can start being out and about.
I'll start taking you to the Mayweather gym and all of that. And we'll say hi to some of these folks, man. The doctor's got to okay it,
dude. So you know what? I've done it 3 times. I don't know if it's still any good, but the boxing tour in Vegas, dude, that used to be badass.
No, when they were running it correctly and they would show you that, and get you autographs and the whole bit. That was great. I don't know any of those folks now, and I don't know if that's still even going on. What I would say, Turf, is it's better for you to go to the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame because they at least those guys when you come into those.
Where's that at? I didn't even know there was.
Bro.
That's wild. All this time, and I've never been to the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame.
Oh man, I got to turn you on to the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame. I was there for the first 4 or 5 of them in a row. It was great.
That's
Freddie
wild.
Rose was inducted in the first.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
No, the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame is where you can get a lot of your autographs. That's where I told you, like when I was doing all of my interviews with Michael Spinks and every Roy Jones, and that's where it's done, man. So, but
I ran into a couple of cool guys. I ran into a couple of UK boxers. Joel Casamayor. He was working You know, in Toko's gym, I think it was Johnny Toko's.
Yes, Johnny Taco's gym.
Yeah. Dude, that I adored that. That's why I did it 3 times. I did that shit 3 times.
Yeah.
But I haven't lately because, like you said, I'm not gonna lie. I've heard it's gone downhill, and then you know it's just fighting's just not.
And you know me now, Turf. So you don't really have to worry.
Yeah.
You know, I again, man, those are one of the things where I don't want to talk too much about transplant, but a lot got taken away because of what I had to do. But bro, I'm alive. I'm blessed to be alive. Literally, you know, and again, I wasn't trying to make you tear up in the beginning, talking about your dad a little bit.
Right.
I'm not going to tear up, but literally, Turf, I can't tell you how blessed and happy I am that I'm with you tonight, because 3 years ago to this day, I was in the oncology unit here in Las Vegas, dying, bro.
Right.
It felt like there was no hope. Yeah. I was literally dying. So that's why negativity can never get me down.
Right.
Because I'm alive, bro.
And Dixon Sider, I definitely know you know jiu-jitsu. If you're bringing up Musamechi, he is literally like the dude. And obviously the Tackets are going to have a problem with that guy. But give it a few more years, and I think Mikey probably would have to start bowing out. See, and this is the wild thing for me, man, because all of my heroes, right, the whole competition situation is pretty much over, bro. Like, so when I say that, I'm talking about the Ribeiro brothers, man. Sean G, right? You're talking about the art of jiu-jitsu. You're talking about the Bible, right? The Ribeiros built that, right? Man, you are talking about Travis, Took, Houston. I don't think I've enjoyed watching a more competitive guy in terms of jiu-jitsu is concerned. And then, obviously the most decorated and, probably revered grappler in all of history for the United States of America, right? Y'all know who that is, right? Rafael Lovato Jr.
Hey, shout out to Lovato.
Lovato is the dude. Like, I've gotten a chance to roll with all of these guys I just said.
And he nicest people, right?
Man, absolutely. Oh my gosh, absolutely. Man, I'm not even bringing up the young guns now, like Victor Hugo. He is like literally the best in the world at heavyweight, and whoever's the heavyweight, it's open. So that's the other beautiful thing about jiu-jitsu that people might not know about. There's this thing called the open weight class, and yes, you will see 400-pound dudes getting tapped, choked, passed out by 150-pound guys. And the bottom line, do you know who typically wins an open weight division? Doesn't matter what belt. It's usually typically the middleweights.
Right.
Middleweights. It's not your 240-pound muscle guys. It's not the 400-pound fat guy. It's the 180, 190, right? Just athletic dog. That's just typically what wins the open weights. And that is a thing. There's no, that is how you gauge who's the best in the world. It's an open class. It's 80 cc's, right? You got all these different tournaments. IBJJF is used to be the major one, right, before the 80 cc's and all that good stuff. But man, Mikey, you're naming guys right now that nobody can beat. And that's saying a lot. I don't think anybody can beat Mikey Musamechi right now. I don't know the last time he's lost. We're talking any weight class.
Right. Yeah, Dixon Sider, man, he's really into his MMA. You already know Dixon Sider that I was training Frank Mir. Again, all you got to do is do the Google search.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, man, I'll tell you a funny story. When we were in Brisbane, Australia, Turf, the worst I probably felt being under someone was when Frank didn't have his he was supposed to have his jiu-jitsu partner come one day, was working on some stuff, and he was like, "Nah, man, I need a partner." And he was like, "Angelo, you got to come to the mat." And I'm like, "Bro, I'm the striking coach, bro." I mean, I don't know. So I was literally, I was underneath that man, bro. It is not fun when he's circling on you.
Oh man, putting that chest, bro. People,
that's like 265 pounds of and you know what's crazy is how agile they are, right? Like when you're talking about Hugo. Like they're like ballerinas.
Bro, Victor Hugo is an enormous, ginormous dude, and if you rolled with him, you'd think you'd be rolling with like a 2-year-old. That's how he rolls with you. He's not aggressive in any way. It doesn't matter how hard you go. Like he just treats you like a child. It's so wild. Same thing for Rafael Lovato Jr. The one dude that kind of just wouldn't care. Sean G. I'm sorry, Sean G. Yeah, he would kind of, you know, and then
he putting it on you.
Yeah, and then he look at you like you were crazy if you couldn't take it. Yeah. Dude, I've never felt so. I'm just telling you, you were bringing memories, dude. I've never felt so helpless rolling with all those guys I just mentioned. When I say helpless, I don't think y'all understand. I mean, it literally is the equivalent of drowning. It's drowning. It's literally drowning, and you cannot breathe. You cannot breathe, and it's literally just pressure. All they're doing is putting pressure on you.
Right.
And you tap from pressure because you literally can't breathe. They haven't even put you in any kind of submission, any kind of hold. It's literally pressure. I'm glad I learned BJJ, man. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I'm glad, because all I know is that when push comes to shove, if it ain't no weapons, good luck. That's all I'm saying. Good luck, because ain't enough punching, kicking in the world if a person, even a blue belt, that's 2 years of training, man. Just 2 years of training. You are out of your league. You have no idea what you're dealing with if that person gets a hold of you. So
no, that's the whole thing about, when you talk about MMA, and you start saying, well, who's the GOAT, who's the greatest? I still put Khabib up in that Mount Rushmore.
Yes, man, you have to.
Khabib, bro, was like, he just needed a pinky toe. He grabs that, you're screwed, bro. That's over. You're done.
Going down, you're getting choked, whatever the case may be.
Right. Although Turf, real quick and funny story for you. Floyd, one day he comes into the gym, and it was very private, and this was in the gym, and the Ronda Rousey thing had just happened, where Dana White was saying Ronda Rousey would, smoke Floyd. And
yes.
And then, we were in the gym, and then Floyd, somebody made a joke, and then Floyd's like, "Nah, man, are you kidding me? Do you know how long they're gonna put me in jail if I beat up on him?" So nah, bro. But you and I both know that shit. Floyd would attack your. You better. What I would always tell when that whole thing was happening, when I was first getting in MMA, and they would have the discussion, I would always say, "You guys can tell me James Toney versus Randy Couture all you want, but you keep forgetting that Ray Mercer knocked out Silva."
So
it goes either way. It's like you got to get through. You bet, and you're talking about Floyd Mayweather. Floyd,
you better.
You know how fast he punches. His jab might knock you out. So you better, if you can get through, sure. But if you don't, you're getting slapped.
Night. Going night.
So that's always the thing about it is it's like you don't pick one or the other anyway. So, but hey, real quick, Turf. I did want to say, so with the Catterall Harlem Eubank, the undercards are going to be dope, bro. The question though is, will Professor T be available?
Yes.
9-10 a.m. because it's in the UK.
Saturday.
So the Saturday morning is when it starts. The first fight starts at 9 a.m. and then it continues to noon.
Yeah.
So that's their little 3-hour window. So if you guys want, the Knockout Canvas could do a watch party, which we've been wanting to do.
Correct.
Right?
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, we'll do that this Saturday.
Saturday morning. All right, cool. And then the other thing is, and we didn't, we had so much fun talking about your BJJ days, Turf. We didn't really get to talk about too much, but did you see the Ilia Topuria knockout with Charles Oliveira? So let me ask you, that leg lock, bro, was that tight? Because
yeah, but I mean, if you know how to, if you in leg locks, they can look really nasty, but as long as you get a particular angle, it just depends, right? We'd have to pull it up for me to really be able to analyze it and tell you where.
Maybe on Saturday we could try. I don't know.
Yeah, but yeah, maybe we'll try and see if they flag us. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, obviously you can't allow any submission to get too far gone, but there's a yin for yang in jiu-jitsu, and that's the beautiful thing about it. That's why you see a lot of fights that don't end with a winner, if you will, outside of, okay, well, who had more, positions and who had more attempts at submissions, and that's what you got to go on because, that is the art of jiu-jitsu, and it just boils down to how much you know, really. And if you know just as much as the person you're dealing with, you could beat her all night.
So you, in your opinion, you think Topuria, when he got free from it, it was a pretty slick move the way he did it?
Yes.
Because it looked tight. Yes. It looked like, oh shit.
Exactly. Like it's over. But and hey man, some guys, they literally just they won't ever let you know. You may have broken it. He may have, tore a ligament. You just won't ever know. Just won't ever know it. You just won't ever know it. They're not gonna let you know. Dude, you gotta remember, jiu-jitsu people, they are a glut for punishment. It's part of it. No different than fighting, right? Yeah, it's part of it. That conditioning, if you will. Your body gets conditioned to take a lot of pain, and a lot of times guys get out of submissions because you're scared you're gonna, break their arm or something, and they're like, dude, I was fine. And you're like, no, your arm was it's
well, one of the highlights I sent you, I want you to see it, and maybe we could show it when we do the show on Saturday. Dude and UFC BJJ, he did break dude's arm.
Yes,
he broke it, Turf. I was like, oh, ouch.
It happens. It happens, man. People, there are guys that just don't want to tap, man. And I mean, there's no other. What is it? 2.5 pounds of pressure? That's it. That's all it takes to break an arm. It's not a lot, my guys. It's not a lot. It's wild. It's wild stuff. And I mean, I'm glad I learned it. And it's never too late. I mean, there are guys 60, 70 years old walking through that door for the first time. I swear to God. One of my best friends, Mark, man, from jiu-jitsu, he's definitely up there in age. Double hip replacement, ladies and gentlemen. He still be out there on those mats, bro. Still out there on those mats, man. So you can do it for the rest of your life. That Naga belt. This Naga belt. Uh-oh. Yeah. Y'all can still hear me. This is what made me realize I could do this for the rest of my life right here. My very first Naga tournament. 72-year-old man competed against the 68-year-old man, and the 72-year-old man won.
Yep.
That's when I knew I could do this for the rest of my life. I'm not holding up my end of the bargain. Boo, Turf. It's been a while, but no. And I actually
get back there. It's like riding a bike, bro. Yep. It's like riding a bike, man.
And who knows? It may be next week that I'll start going back, guys. And like I say, with this new channel, this new show, hey, maybe we start bringing in some guys.
That would be great.
Studio, right? We got plenty of room. Start bringing guys in and come have these conversations, man. You guys have no idea. I literally used to be at every UFC boxing match.
Yep.
with my crew.
Yep.
With everybody from the gym. You know, I obviously everyone's gotten older. My boy KT, I just showed y'all pictures. He's got 2 kids now.
Right.
Just
Everybody got
baby.
kids now, Turf.
It's just very. But man, I adore how I grew up in the fight game. And I mean, on all levels. From a kid watching boxing and then moving out here and jumping right into it, man. I couldn't be more happy with the decision I made to do that. Man.
Yeah. And again, shout out to the Ultimate Raider fan channel. Thanks for continuing to run this for a while, Turf.
Yeah.
Because, I know that a lot of the Raider guys are our regular Raider Talk folks. They're kind of like, man, why is Turf and Angelo so into it? Because when you get the bug, when you get it injected in you, and this is what I always try to tell people about combat sports, if you get the bug, it's on you for life. Like you will sit there and watch jiu-jitsu for 3 hours. That's how long UFC BJJ was. You will watch it because you're actually like seeing, like, because you're in it, right? It's the same for boxing. Big Daddy Jose, shout out to the man all the time. He's always saying kind words to me, calls me, and we'll talk boxing. But sometimes, Turf, he'll be like, Angelo, tell me the truth this week. How many, or not even just this week, but this Friday, from Friday to Saturday, how many hours of boxing did you watch? And I'd be like, 10 hours, right? Because Turf, man, I mean, that's just, when it's in you, and that's why you and I wanted to build this channel even from over a year ago, is because we just want to let you know what's going on. And then as we grow our people who are in the game wanting to know, hey, what is going on? How good is Schofield, or how good is Miseki? Like, now we'll be able to tell, well, this is based on our information, and we know a little bit about it, Turf. We know a tiny bit about the stuff we're talking about,
Yes, sir. Shout out to Real Talk Raider Nation. Fun fact. Got a decent martial arts and MMA background. Started when I was 4. MMA and jits workouts are nothing to mess with. I did not know that.
I didn't know that. Oh, that's awesome, man.
I had no idea. Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
Awesome.
That is awesome. And that's the one thing that I'll tell you guys, the one thing that I wish I would have done, and I'm sure people are going to laugh at one of these out of the two. But I'm from Connecticut. I wish I played hockey. We had a hockey team, man. We had a hockey squad. I wish I played hockey, and I really, really wish I wrestled. So for all of y'all that got kids, you know what I'm saying? Throw them in. See what happens. I'm telling you right now, if your kid can withstand even a few years of wrestling, you don't have to worry about him for the rest of your life, or her for the rest of your life. It's probably the hardest thing, in my opinion. Even, and this is where maybe Angelo might disagree, but even in boxing, I'd much rather sometimes box than wrestle. I'm just, get off of me. Get off of me. Like, I would much rather just get punched in the face. Like, you got to get off of me. Like, and that's the thing. A lot of people don't comprehend that pressure, because you don't have to be 240 pounds to apply pressure and make somebody tap out. I've been tapped out. I'll never forget when I very first started. I've gotten tapped out by 130, 140-pound dudes from pressure. Not from a move, not from my neck being choked, not from my leg being in danger. No, from exactly what Ray just said earlier when it came to Frank Mir just being on top. 140 pounds just on top and knowing how to apply pressure. It's just a different world. It's a different world. It's such a different world.
And again, I would say this to Mr. Rabati, because you have to remember, Turf, that's one of the great things about, I mean, I get credited a lot of times for the guy that kind of broke the ice between boxing and MMA, because prior to Frank Mir really doing what I did, where I'd take him to Mayweather Gym and he'd be sparring Bermain Stavern and everything, everybody was kind of like boxing versus MMA. Instead of, why don't we work together?
Exactly.
And you guys will actually see what we're doing. And so again, man, and Turf, I don't like to toot my own horn, but you can look up Yahoo articles about what Angelo Reyes did. All right. So anyway, where I push back a little, Turf, is I've never put you in front of someone who was boxing smaller than you, right? A 135er, 126, and then just said, go ahead, Turf. Don't worry about it. Hit him as hard as you can. Right? Go ahead. It'll be fine. Okay? Because I used to do that with like 130 pounders. I'll put a 115 guy in there, and the 115 guy will do the same exact thing you're talking about. We'll beat that dude's ass, make him super tired. He can't catch his breath anymore. And 3 minutes, brother, that's a long ass time to be taking a lot of headshots, bro.
Long time.
That's a long time. So again, different, just different. And,
right.
Both. I was in the rooms with. I remember John Jones showing us stuff in a wrestling room. And John Jones, man, that guy's got one of the strongest grips I've ever seen in my life, bro. If he grabs you, it's over, Turf. Because that guy, so again, just different, Turf. Just different.
Yes, no, absolutely. Absolutely. It's just different, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this was an excellent show, bro. Thank you for making me stay honest, because you could have easily just said, we had technical difficulties. Nah, you pressed me. But yeah, we're gonna do this, man. Like I said, I don't have much traveling left.
Good.
I am Wednesdays. Wednesdays. And you know what? I don't mind being late. I'm thinking like 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock is a good time for me on Wednesday nights. 10 to 11, 10 to 11:30, we'll do something like that.
Yeah, hour and a half. Yeah, whatever the breaking thing is.
Correct. But yeah, we'll figure it out, guys. Again, please don't forget the Knockout Canvas, YouTube, Instagram. I'm actually gonna set up my TikTok and X and all that other stuff.
This episode, we're gonna get you guys some shorts too, because we had some funny things that we said, and some shout outs that we probably want to get out there to some of Turf's people.
Yes, sir.
And then Turf, so Wednesdays, 10 p.m. Central Time, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific. So we could start pushing that out. This Saturday, watch party for Jack Catterall versus Harlem Eubank. All right. Yeah, you're going to let me know if you'll be ready by what? 9 a.m., 10 a.m.? Yeah, I'll be ready. Because, for me, 9 a.m. is 11 for you. 10 a.m. is already noon for you. So,
correct.
I mean, unless you're sleeping in, bro.
I ain't sleeping in. I'll be ready. I'll be up.
All right. Cool. Well, I want to thank everybody. Real Talk.
All you guys, everybody that showed up.
Dixon Sider, Marcus Banks, man.
Rafa,
you guys
Captain Rafa came through. Yeah.
No, man. No. Everybody, and we're growing, Turf. Even though we've literally only had 2 shows in a 4-week span.
Right.
We're starting to get the subscribers. So thank you to everybody.
Yes, sir. All right. Till next time. We out. Peace.